sight reading and piano technique. So, first question is sight reading. How do you get better at sight reading?
By doing it. And the the approach I use when a student is not a strong reader is, I kind of put a little humor with it. I tell them they're going to sight reading boot camp, and which is that I don't know if other countries use the same term, but that's where in the military, where you get taken away, and that's what boot camp is. Uh, and sight reading boot camp is simply 20 minutes every day. You read things, and you read easy things,
Mm,
because the skill of sight reading is not stopping.
mm,
Okay, it's nice if you're accurate. You don't have to be 100% accurate to sight read. You have to be reasonably accurate so that it sounds good, and you have to be able to kind of fake the things you don't quite get. Like
right.
if you can see that this is A major and it's some kind of figuration or whatever, well, you might play it exactly, or you might substitute an A major arpeggio, but probably most people won't know the difference, and so you get away with it. So it's not about 100% accuracy, it's about continuity, keep going.
Okay.
So the main problem that people have when they read is start, stop, fix, stop, oops, wait. Okay, so instead you give them really easy music, like children's music, where the quarter note heads are the size of your fist, the big stick on it, like that. And you turn on a metronome, and you say you may not stop, no matter what. You're going to
Right.
play this from beginning to end, even if you're smashing the piano keyboard with your forehead in time to the music, and all the notes are wrong. I don't care. You're not going to fix it. You're not going to play it a second time. In tempo, go. Then turn the page. Don't play it again. And just move through music like that. And it should be at a very easy level, so hopefully you're not actually smashing the keyboard with your
Right.
forehead.
Yeah.
And that kind of playing is what does it. The other way to do it is pretend you have an imaginary group that's singing, and
Mm,
it's a church organization, or they're singing a song. You can't stop and fix a phrase when 100 people are singing. They're just going to drive straight on. You just have to hit something and keep going. So that skill, just practiced about 20 minutes a day. Usually I tell people 6 weeks, 2 months, or whatever, you're going to see a huge difference in your ability. So people who aren't good at sight reading haven't spent any time sight reading.
right.
That's all it is. It's just lack of doing it.
Do you find that sight reading is a skill that generally people could work on?
Absolutely. And it's more useful than memorization. Most of the students in music schools today, once they graduate, will not need to play anything from memory ever again in their life. And so if you are spending, let's say you're doing an undergraduate degree and you have these recitals, and you're supposed to memorize them, how much longer does it take to have a really secure memory? And by the way, how much anxiety and pain and
Mm,
humiliation when you don't get it right is involved? And then suddenly you're done and you graduate and you never need that again, because you're teaching and you're accompanying and you're doing, this and that. I think that's a terrible use of time, of limited time. And so, for the most part, I don't require memorization at this undergrad school, except for students who are going to graduate schools, where,
mm.
where, where there will be
That's
a
a
requirement.
that's a huge. I mean, that's a huge philosophy change for conservatory.
Yeah, but I mean, it's logical, right? Like, why are you putting all of this investment? It's a question of return on investment. It's very simple. When are you going to play a late Beethoven sonata from memory ever again in your life? What? No, you're not. You're going to accompany the thing at the school, and you're going to teach little fingers to play, and you're going to do this and that. And nobody wants your Hammerklavier sonata, unless you're at a very elite level. Then yeah, of course you have to. But
Mm,
so why not just tell them the truth? You
right,
know,
right.
why not
Was sight
just tell them?
reading better historically? Were people just great sight readers in the 19th and 18th century?
I don't know. You hear stories about Mendelssohn and Liszt as spectacular readers, but it's hard, just by historical accounts to really evaluate that.
Mm.
Um,
You said something
so,
interesting. You said there was no repertoires back in the back in the day.
well, in the sense that if just in the case of a German Kapellmeister like Bach
Mm,
or Albrechtsberger or Paya or Krebs or somebody, what? Yes, they sometimes published music, and yes, there were things written down they could go back and play.
mhm,
They would probably play it from the score. They'd probably get it together in a short amount of practice time, because mostly what's in there is stuff that they pretty much could do on the fly. There wasn't such a thing as practicing something for 6 months and memorizing, like a
yeah, yeah,
list A2, like that.
yeah,
And for the most part, the music was being newly done, right? A new cantata every week,
right.
or at least you're going to rearrange it or something. So the idea was constantly cranking out new stuff. And certainly there was no such thing as a canonical repertoire.
Mm.
Uh, I love it when people talk about the canon, like the approved holy book of music that we're allowed to play.
The Bach's well-tempered clavier is the Old Testament. The Beethoven sonatas are
Yeah,
the
I
New Testament.
know.
Yeah,
It makes me want to knock my head against a telephone pole.
yeah,
Um, Now that is great music. Maybe it is the
yep.
best music ever written. Maybe it is. But does that mean that it makes sense to limit your whole life to that? Okay. I mean, no matter how interesting the Beethoven sonatas are, and they're great, if that's all you can ever have over and over and over again, like, really, does that sound interesting as a life? I don't. I don't think so.